All right.
Hey,
We
Jim.
are live. Good evening. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. Better than Shohei today.
Better than Shohei. Better, really better than his interpreter too,
Yeah.
who
Well,
is
it's
going
hard.
to take the fall for this in a big way.
I can't tell. It's been reported that first it was reported that the money was stolen. Now then it was reported that he gave him the money and paid it off for him.
I thought it was the other way around. First, they reported that it was he was given the money, and then it was reported stolen. After they pulled the interview back on ESPN. They so I guess Tuesday night they interviewed somebody. It might have been the interpreter for like 90 minutes. And then
Boy.
they were going to play the interview on Wednesday. And overnight, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, the powers to be with, I think, the Dodgers yanked that interview and they changed the story from him giving him the money to him stealing the money.
So the first time I saw it, it said it was stolen. So look at you see this bullshit on our wallpaper here, the high anxiety.
I see it. Yeah, I was going to say something, but
That's
they're about as
Dickhead's Yankee
irrelevant.
podcast.
Yeah, they are as irrelevant as Shoei's interpreter now.
The Yankees are high anxiety.
Both. Anything with the
So
Yankees and the anxiety is I'm all set with.
yeah, they I mean Cole's done, it seems like. And we said that last week. And they keep bumping it back like 2 weeks at a time, it seems like. So I'm gonna
He's
go on a
just
limb and say he's not pitching until September or something.
they're just putting off the inevitable.
Yeah, he's getting TJ for sure. Speaking of which, another Red Sox down for the count with the Kyle Bodie disease.
Yes, Chris Murphy is on the shelf and on deck to have his arm cut open. Has he had surgery, Tommy John, before?
I feel like he has. I'm not positive,
Okay.
but I feel like he's been kicking around the system for a long time, and
Yeah.
usually it's because they had Tommy John. So the Red Sox opening day roster was supposed to be, I thought, announced yesterday, like finalized, but it's still very much up in the air. There's still like 35 guys on the active roster, but there's like five that need to just be put on the IL. But it's pretty unsettled right now. The bullpen's a mess.
Well, I think they were waiting to see how Jansen pitched tonight and Martin pitched tonight, and probably more importantly, see how they feel tomorrow. They both scheduled to pitch again on Saturday based on the broadcast of the game tonight. So neither one of them were lights out, but I think it's just a matter of them. Are they healthy over the next couple of days to bounce back? And if so, I think they'll be set to go after Saturday, and you'll probably see the roster finalized at some point, probably Sunday.
Yeah, it just I don't know why someone announced that they were going to do it. So I was surprised. I thought we'd be able to kind of talk about that today and see what we were surprised about. It does seem like Lucas Litke is not going to make the roster.
Well, he pitched tonight. He pitched okay. He came in and got out of that inning, and then pitched in the next inning, and he threw like 35 pitches. I don't know. I think he's going to be.
It makes sense. It's either him or now they're talking, I guess, Justin Slayton making the roster. And there's no other. Oh, Joely Rodriguez is the guy now.
Yeah, he's
that
not
they're
making.
saying. So I saw three different people, like kind of, and they're nobody important, but I saw three different people do their opening day roster predictions, and all three of them had Joely on the roster and not have Litke on the roster. So I wonder if they heard something or know something. I doubt it because it wasn't anyone special that wrote it. But I mean, certainly Joely was here last year and failed epically. Not
Well,
even
maybe
sure
they don't
why.
believe in having left-handed pitchers on the pitching staff.
Yeah, what do you need those for?
If that's the case, then he won't make the roster for obvious reasons. But
Yeah. So the only lefty right now on the active roster, starter or reliever, is Chris Murphy's still on the active, but when he gets put on the IL, the only one left is Bernardino, and then Joely and Lickgate are both non-roster invitees. So, and it looks like Isaiah Campbell's making the roster.
he's pitched well. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to give him credit. He's competed and pitched well.
Yeah.
Someone's still going to get hurt between now and next Thursday night. You know that.
It feels like it, yeah, between Martin and Jansen, or God knows who else. How did Criswell do tonight? I haven't been watching just because of the stupid draft.
So I will say, very surprisingly, he pitched very well. And I was trying to figure out like who he reminded me of, because I haven't seen him pitch a lot. And he reminds me of like Oil Can Boyd.
Yeah.
He's long and lanky. He's all elbows and knees. He comes from about 5 different angles, and he throws strikes and he moves the ball, and he's competitive. He reminds me of like a cocky guy on the mound with his competitiveness, and his stuff isn't unbelievable, but his mound presence really showed, at least tonight. I mean, that's the first time I've seen him pitch this spring for more than a couple batters, but he was pretty impressive, and maybe he's going to push somebody for that number 5 spot.
Yeah, I mean, so he's started 4 games. He's appeared in 6 games, 18 innings, 17 strikeouts, 1.04 WHIP. I mean, he's not allowing base runners, so that's a good thing, I guess. He's been spoken very highly of over the last couple of years by the Angels and Tampa Bay, but for some reason didn't stick with either team. So it'll be interesting. I guess he's the 6th starter, long man out of the pen right now, it looks like. So
maybe he creeps up into the 5, and Whitlock can go back to the or Hulk, for that matter, can go back to the bullpen.
Yeah, Whitlock, right? I mean, Hulk seems to be
think so.
the better option on the rotation right now. Not that either one's any great shakes, but yeah, I was surprised you saw Lorenzen signed for pennies.
$4.5 million. Listen, when they didn't get they weren't in the market for Montgomery. You knew they weren't going after anybody. They kicked some tires probably on all these people, but they never had any real intentions of signing anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. And Lorenzen, like, he's nothing special. I don't even know that he's an upgrade to Whitlock. But at least if you sign someone like Lorenzen, you've got that body to be the 5 starter, and you get your bullpen's that much better because Whitlock's back in it. Especially if there's questions with Martin and Jansen, which it seems like there are. I just really wish they moved on from both of those guys before spring training, because they knew they were going to, and you knew there was going to be health issues at some point. And it just seems like a lost opportunity to maybe get some value for guys that aren't going to do anything for you this year.
Right. Well, it's tough to get rid of those guys, well, especially Jansen, because if you get rid of your closer before the season starts, you're basically throwing the towel in, right?
Well, except for the fact that you might have, if you just got rid of Jansen and you kept Martin, you might have a better closer in either Martin or Whitlock than Jansen's going to be this year. He's old, and he allowed base runners on like crazy last year. Even, he had some saves and he had some good appearances.
He was Houdini last year.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, and he has been for the last couple of years, because he was for the Braves too. And it's just like, all right, he's like not really like a lights out closer. So if you can get value for him, if the Phillies wanted him, it just seems like a big lost opportunity. And that's one of the things I was hoping Breslow wouldn't do is miss those opportunities. So,
well, I don't think you're going to get anything for him more than a mid-level guy at the best.
Not now, but maybe before spring training, you could have convinced someone that maybe he was worth a Castellanos or something. Ooh. A team that was trying to get rid of, shed some payroll and bring in, upgrade their bullpen.
But what's he making? He's making big money though, right?
He's making good money, but I think he's got 1 or 2 years left or something like that.
No, I'm talking about Jansen.
Jansen, I think $16 million. I got it. I got it right here in front of me.
Yeah, that's a lot of dough for a 37-year-old closer.
Is it? Yeah, I was right on 16 million. So, I mean, that's what closers get paid now, if not more. So
Right,
I'm
but
sure. Yeah,
he's on a team where he's going to come in to close, I don't know, 40 times, and probably be 32 out of 40.
yeah, exactly.
What
So
good does that
yeah,
do this team?
it doesn't do them any good at all. I'd much rather see like maybe Whitlock or Houck get a shot in that role and see what they got, or maybe even someone in the minors that. Not that there's like a particular closer on the horizon or anything like that, but this Mata kid is still on the roster, and what's he going to be? He's actually on the active roster today still.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, there's
which
no
kind of
IL, right? There's no IL in spring training unless you're
no,
going to
there's
start
no
the year.
IL. Is he hurt? Is he still
Yes,
hurt?
yes.
Okay, I thought
He's
he was
not going to
back.
be. No, he's not going to be ready for opening day. They said that a couple weeks when he got hurt.
Okay, so I was wondering why he was still on the roster, just because they haven't IL'd him yet. So maybe the bullpen is set in stone then, because Campbell and Slayton are still on there, and I know they like Slayton. He's had a good spring. And Criswell obviously has made the team at this point. So maybe barring injury to either Jansen or Martin, maybe the roster is actually set.
It's probably pretty close. You got some
Yeah.
guys that have some opt outs like Crone. I think Perez has an opt out like 5 days before the season starts.
Yeah, I was just talking bullpen because it just
Okay.
seemed like the bullpen was really, really up in the air. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not at all because there's no spots left for Litke or. No, I'm sorry. There's one spot left for Litke or Joely Rodriguez. So I guess that's really the only decision to make, as assuming that Campbell and Slayton have made the team at this point, which it looks like they probably have. So cool. All right, so
Yeah.
we've got a bullpen. It's not great.
It's pretty good though. I will say this: it's probably out of the three facets of the game, starting, rotation, bullpen, and offense. It's in defense, so four facets. I would say it's number two.
Behind the offense.
Behind the offense, ahead of the defense, and ahead of the rotation.
The rotation, yeah, absolutely. The rotations they've looked pretty good this spring though. So
I don't listen, honestly.
I believe me, I know it's the spring training and all that, but I'm just saying they haven't blown up. They have the markers of pitchers that as long as they stay healthy, they could all be number 4 starters, which could be worse, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, they could all be number 5s. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's really not much else to talk about Red Sox wise. I know we're going to talk about like our picks for like team awards. Let's do that last though.
Okay.
But aside from that, there's really nothing going on. I mean, it seems like Bobby Dalbeck's not going to make the team.
It's the end of the spring training, right? There's guys that are coasting. There's guys that know that, Dalbeck came in the 7th inning after a Story walk tonight. So I don't know. He's close. It's either him or Cron. If Cron opts out, then Dalbeck makes the team. Coincidentally, Cron is the best first baseman on the team, by the way.
Defensively. Yeah, absolutely. Cassis is shaky over there. Not shaky, but he's average.
Defensively, he's probably in the American League. He's probably the worst defensive player in the American League, first baseman wise.
I think he stunk. I just think he
has
issues.
Zero range, and he has trouble getting to the bag sometimes if he's playing even mildly deep.
His footwork is a mess.
Well, he's big dude,
he like trips over himself a little bit, and that's the same issue that Dalbeck has. But Dalbeck just doesn't know the footwork, and there's a lot of footwork that goes into playing first base. That whole concept of like, just throw him at first base, I hate it because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Cron make the team, and Dalbeck's going to have to go to AAA.
He's got one option left, so one option a year left. They should probably just do him a favor and try to move him because he could go play or at least make a roster somewhere else.
Where? I mean, where? This is one of the worst 25-man rosters in baseball.
But with a good first baseman, he could go play for like a team with their first baseman is a kind of a shitty left-handed starting first baseman. I haven't thought about it that much off the top of my head, but I'm sure like a Pittsburgh, a Washington, Cincinnati's had a bunch of injuries to their infield this week.
You told me last week Pittsburgh is going to make the playoffs.
I said they could make it interesting. I didn't say they were going to make the playoffs.
No, but
I don't think I said that.
Well, you said you liked them last week a lot, and I watched a couple of games this week and since then, and they're fun. They're fun to watch. They're
fast
to watch. I don't know how their pitching is going to be, but
Skeens. I just drafted Skeens.
They're fun to watch, and Skeens won't be up before July, August at the earliest.
I don't think so.
He's going to get banged around in Double-A, and it's just for him, it's part of the learning curve, and he's going to have to learn how to deal with some adversity for the first time. And then once he deals with that, and they figure out that he's dealt with it, then he probably will come up at some point. So
if they're in the hunt, I think if they're in the hunt in June, and he's performing well.
Maybe performing well, 100%.
Yeah, maybe his numbers won't show it, but the metrics will, kind of thing. Because Double-A is tough, but
Double-A is tough.
Double-A is Double-A is tougher than Triple-A. They'll bring him up if they're in the hunt and they need pitching because they got Keller, and then kind of not much else in the starting pitching department. So Skeens would be a big bump to them if they were in the hunt, and they should be because that NL Central is.
It's worse. It's the worst division in baseball.
One of the Centrals is for sure. I think it's probably the NL Central. Everyone's picking St. Louis to win it this year, and they were the last place team last year. I don't know what changed so much for St. Louis that they think that they lost Tyler O'Neill. They added Lance Lynn. What else did they fucking do? They don't seem like a very good. I don't like the manager. And I don't think the players like the manager. And I think the manager made a lot of mistakes last year. And they just re-upped him, which is wild because they didn't have to.
Who was the manager there?
Ollie Marmol.
Yeah, Ollie, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to fight Tyler O'Neill like this first week of the fucking season for not running out a ground ball or something like that when when his back was barking at him.
Yeah.
He did it like in the dugout in front of the cameras too, which is a big no-no. And he's an analytical guy. They hired him because he's a puppet, and he follows the data, and he's not really a baseball manager guy. They got rid of Mike Shildt, who, in my opinion, is if I had my choice of managers, he's in my top 5 probably in baseball.
Easy.
And they got rid of him because he took the iPads and threw them out the window. And now he's over in San Diego. Did you watch the games? Excuse me.
So I watched let's see. I watched yesterday's game on replay, and then I watched the last 5 innings of the game today because at 8:30 it was only in the third and fourth inning.
Yeah, Yamamoto got touched up. Yeah, it looks worse on paper than it actually was. The first 3 batters got him big time. And then there was a couple, like a ground ball that hit the bag and bounced into foul territory, and that was a double. And then there was a ground ball that kind of snuck between short and third. So it didn't look as bad live as it looks on paper for sure. But certainly 5 runs in your first inning of Major League Baseball it's got to be scary for the Dodgers, especially with what happened with Shohei today too. What a shit day for the Dodgers.
Terrible.
And then Mookie booted a ball too, and it wasn't an easy play by any stretch, but he booted what should have been a fairly easy double play at one point, and allowed the Padres to score. I believe that.
Inning?
No, it was later in the game, and it was a 1-run game. and I think the double play would have got them out of the inning, and then Machado hit a 3-run bomb.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I saw the play. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like he was going to his left, and it was a one hop into his glove, and he could have flipped it and turned it, and instead he like did a dance and got the force out at second, and that was it.
Right, and Eddie Perez had the audacity to say that the
He
ball
was like
came
blowing
up.
him. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, what an athlete!" I'm like, "Well,
The
that
ball
was
came up on him. I mean, I'm like, my
it was in his
shortstop.
glove."
Yeah, I mean, it's right in his glove, and
Yeah.
those are the things that will haunt the Dodgers this year, right? It's not the routine play; it's the plays where the double play gets turned into one out, or the ball doesn't. He's a great athlete. He's not a great shortstop. He's just not a
He's
great
not a shortstop.
And honestly, you're going to see by May 1st, I'm telling you, the Dodgers are going to make a move to get a shortstop.
Well, they have Rojas on the roster too.
They hate Rojas for some reason. I don't know why. They don't like him.
So that's interesting. I wonder if it's a personality thing, because there was actually a story that just came out this week about him in Miami, and he was the captain of the Marlins team, and apparently he was Jazz Chisholm and him had a big problem.
I saw the highlight of the interview with Jazz. Jazz and my son played together with the Diamondbacks. He's a good dude, but he's a little
he was really hyped up for a kid who hasn't done very, very much.
Well, he got put on the
cover of the show,
right?
And then hit 200.
And then he hit 200, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And he can move to the outfield. But he's a good player. But I did see part of that the snippets of that interview. I don't know, man. There's plenty of people in the Dodgers up front in the Dodgers dugout to be able to keep him in line. I just don't think. I don't think he doesn't hit very well, right? He's a free swinger. But you think with that lineup, just go catch the ball.
Yeah, he's a good defensive shortstop.
Fantastic,
if not great. Yeah, and so they must really just not like him. But they traded for him, so it's not like they didn't know what they were getting, I suppose. And they do have like 5 or 6 guys that could be considered a captain on that team. So,
oh, definitely. So I would think that they would just give the Brewers Gavin Lux for Willy Adames. Make it happen. Move Mookie to second base.
Or keep Lux, get Adames, and you don't need to have Jason Hayward in right field.
He's pretty good. He's a good defender.
Defensively, but I mean, right field isn't shortstop. You don't need a Gold Glove right fielder if he can't hit a lick.
No, I don't. Here's the other thing too. I'm not sure how good that rotation is going to be for the Dodgers, considering all the money they have spent. Even when Kershaw comes back, they're going to need to play fantastic defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, Buehler's coming back from TJ.
And how good is he going to be?
He was one of the best pitchers in baseball when he was healthy. So we don't know.
But do you think he's going to come back and be one of the best guys in baseball this year at some point? Probably not, right?
No, probably not. It'll probably take him a year, I would imagine. It's usually a second year back that they're better. Yamamoto obviously has put a scare into them this morning, but it's game one. There's nerves. He's playing in front of not his home country, but he's over there and he's got a lot of fans there, and that could have just been nerves, honestly, because his stuff didn't look bad. Although his velocity seemed like it was down. He was sitting around 91, 92, and I thought he was like a 94, 95 guy. Not that I've seen a ton of them, but that's what I had heard, that he was 94, 95. So to see the velocity tick down, maybe the Japanese guns were off or something. Who knows?
It's a learning curve, right? I mean, but you would expected him to be better. You're right. I would expect him to get out of the first inning against a free swinging team like San Diego.
Yeah, what's funny? I wanted to comment on this, and this was my thought yesterday when I was watching San Diego walk off the field with their heads down. after getting their ass kicked. And it's funny watching those two teams. If you just like line them up on the baselines and like look at the two teams, and the Dodgers are so professional, and they look like they're on a business trip. And you don't see the jewelry, you don't see the tattoos. The shirts are all buttoned up. There's a little, a couple necklaces here or there, but nothing too flashy. And then you watch the Padres, and the shirts are unbuttoned, the chains are everywhere. There's earrings. Excuse me, I'm choking on my fucking tobacco. There's three guys on the team: Campisano, Rosario, and Tatis. They all look like they could be triplets.
Yeah,
and they all get the dangly earring and the dreadlocks, and I know I'm old man yelling at clouds or whatever, but it's just funny that the success that the lack of success that the Padres have had with the payroll that they have, and they go to the field like looking like they've already won something and acting like they've already won something, and then the Dodgers act like they're on a business trip, and they're there for one thing and one thing only. And I love that, man. I love, as much as I despise the Yankees, I've really always totally appreciated their facial hair, uniform policies, and traveling on the plane, wearing suits. And it's just such a stark difference in culture in those two organizations, San Diego and LA. And I really like the way the Dodgers do it. They'll figure it out. I think they're going to be really good.
They of course they're going to be really good, and you're right though. But they go about their business a lot different than a lot of teams. And San Diego's got tons of sauce, and they're not that good compared to how they act. They haven't done anything, right? I mean, they've had a great roster for 4 or 5 years now, and they haven't done anything.
Nothing.
Right? Nothing. No. And
but
so
they could surprise people, though. I mean, if they get their shit together, they've got a good lineup. They just need another outfielder, because you can't have your stud prospect shortstop playing center field and some nobody playing left field. They have Profar out there right now. He's washed.
He's washed. The Merrill kid's going to hit, right? I mean, he's going to hit.
Yeah, he's got a few hits already in his first 2 games, so he looks pretty good. He's going to steal some bases. They're probably a better team. I mean, when they get an outfielder, if they get an outfielder, they're probably a better team if they put him at shortstop and Xander at third and Kim at second and DH Machado, just to keep him healthy. I mean, Machado's a stud at third base, but he's been banged up a lot. So keeping him healthy, or maybe him or Xander plays first base and Cronenworth's your DH kind of thing.
He pissed on that ball yesterday, huh? Or this morning.
Cronenworth. Machado. Oh, yeah. He destroyed that. He's such a good ball player. He's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. Of course, we'll never forget that he pretty much ended Dustin Pedroia's career, but
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think Dustin Pedroia was already hurt, and that was an excuse. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for 1 minute. Pedroia had been hurt before and hadn't been playing well, and he hung his hat on that. And honestly, if you watch the replay, I just watched it again the other night. He didn't really hit him. He really didn't hit him that hard.
I have to go back and watch it again. That's the narrative, is that Machado.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I know what the narrative is, but listen, he didn't get hit hard at all.
All right. No. I don't care either way, quite honestly. No, I love Machado. Xander looks good.
Xander's got a lot to prove after the slow start last year, but he wants to be the best second baseman in baseball.
He probably will be offensively.
Yeah, him or Altuve, right?
Yeah, Altuve is kind of slowing down. He doesn't have the speed or the range anymore defensively, and his average ticked down and his powers ticked down. I think Xander's going to be the best second baseman in baseball this year. And what was that freaking call today, though?
Awful. It was awful.
What the fuck? I still don't know what the fuck happened.
He's standing there looking at the pitcher, and the umpire calls time and gives him one of these. Like, What's he supposed to do?
He was engaged, and he was engaged. You're supposed to be engaged with 8 seconds left, and he was engaged with like 12 seconds left.
I don't know, man.
You could see him. He mouthed timeout. You could see his lips move, and he said timeout. But you're allowed to call timeout, right?
Yes, you are. So, and I think here's what I think, and I said this last year. If they're going to keep with this format, and listen, I get it that it makes the game go a little faster, and I'm obviously an old school baseball guy, but I'm okay with this being in here now. It is what it is. But if you haven't used your timeout yet, you should that should automatically happen so that you don't get called out.
Yeah, was that was a 2-strike count, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, was it 3-2?
No, but it was 2 strikes.
Yeah, I feel like most batters, once they get the 2 strikes, they use the
Yeah,
timeout.
it was not 3-2. No, it was definitely not 3-2.
It might have been 2-2.
So, but if you haven't used your timeout yet, which he hadn't, I watched the whole at bat live. And the umpire, for whatever reason, wants to hit you with the violation, then your timeout that you have in your back pocket automatically gets used.
Yeah, and if they're trying to save time too, they're not really saving time when the manager's going to come out of the dugout and there's a whole scene and all that stuff, and the players incensed and being held back, and it's not really saving any time. So
no,
and the fans aren't there to see Xander get rung up on a technicality, which I still don't even see the technicality. Like, from what I saw, it looked like he was engaged, and I don't think there's a rule that says you can't call timeout under 8 seconds.
No, you call timeout anytime.
Exactly, right? They don't have to grant it, but you can call timeout, and he was still ready to hit. He didn't look down, he didn't look back. He just mouthed timeout and stayed engaged. And how can that possibly be a violation?
Yeah, so that I didn't like today. And then did you see, speaking while we're talking about rules for 1 second, did you see the play at second base on the steal in the Mets game where the kid running against the Mets was stealing second? The catcher threw, I think it was Mejia, threw the runner out by 4 steps. And I think it was Reyes was standing there with the ball, waiting for the kid to slide in. He slides in, out by 2.5 steps, and the umpire calls time, and he says that his foot was in front of the base, blocking the base, and they gave.
Come on.
It's awful. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do. I didn't catch that. I can't spend my entire day watching spring training baseball as much as I try.
Let's I'm going to forward it to you right now. You look at it while we're talking here, and I want you to hear. It's terrible.
I will.
It's terrible.
I'll take a look at it. What did you think of Blake Snell? I mean, I called that.
Well, clearly he didn't want to go to the Yankees, right? He wanted nothing to do with the Yankees.
He was never going to anywhere but the West Coast. And I actually called. I've been calling Giants or Angels all winter, and I just can't believe the amount of money that he left on the table. Because supposedly the Yankees did offer $150, and he was looking for $7,270 or something ridiculous that he was never going to get. But to sign essentially a 1-year deal for 62 with an opt-out after the first year, if he doesn't perform at like Cy Young caliber this year, and he opts out, he's not going to get anything. He just lost $100 million, just left it on the table. Could you imagine? How do you sleep at night?
Let's say he goes 13-7 this year.
Yeah.
Okay. And opts out. He'll get the same contract offers that he got this year, next year. Hopefully with the team of his choice.
I'm watching this play you just sent me.
Oh
my God. That's Lindor too.
Yeah, that's what it was. Lindor.
Yeah, he was out by 6 feet.
Awful. It's terrible. Terrible rule. There's no reason for that rule to be anywhere in the rule book.
Oh, and his foot isn't even in front of the bag. It's on the front corner.
And like my son said, he said he still gave the runner a lane the back of the bag. He said it's just terrible.
There was only about 4 inches of the bag that was covered in the whole
Terrible.
whatever, 19 inches that's left on it or whatever it is.
It's
Now
awful.
that that's a terrible call. I don't want to see that shit, and I hate constantly harping on these new rules and how much I hate them, and I don't want to do what Jeff does and just constantly just bitch about the rules, but there that's not the point of them. The point of them isn't to be ticky tacky, and it's supposed to just speed up the game a little bit and keep it a little bit safer. But that stuff is crazy, and you should be able to challenge that. You should be able to go back to replay and say, no fucking way should that have been called.
Well, you can challenge it, but not in spring training. So
I don't think you can challenge obstruction.
Oh, you can. You have to.
I don't think so.
Well, you can challenge whether the obstruction wasn't called. So you have to be able to challenge it.
That's true. You can do that.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that.
Okay. So, but they have challenges in spring training.
No challenge.
They absolutely have challenges in spring training.
I haven't seen one.
I don't know if they do it, but I've definitely seen, because I can see Cora right now, like looking back, putting his finger up, like doing like the hold on thing and touching it. I've seen it this spring.
Really? I like Wong tonight wanted to challenge the slide of Rafaela in the second base, and there's nothing. I haven't seen a challenge all spring.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I have. So, anyways, doesn't matter. It's fucking spring training. Who gives a shit?
But I think that rule's got to be changed. It's a terrible rule. I don't know who's making these rules up in that MLB office, but
well, it's Manfred, and it's a bunch of young guys and data nerds that are trying to prevent injuries.
Where was the injury in that play by him blocking the base in that corner of the bag?
If anyone was going to get injured, it was going to be Lindor's toe taken off.
Right.
There's no other way for the runner to get injured. I don't know. That sucks, man. I hate shit like that, and it just makes the game like less fun to watch. And they're trying to make it easier for this generation, the young generation, to watch the game, and because there's not enough action, and it's too slow, and yada yada yada.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's action. That's a great play to watch. And now they just take it out.
This game, okay, was not meant to watch if you don't know the game.
Exactly. It's a beautiful game that you need to love it to enjoy it. And if you don't love it, just go fucking watch soccer. Like there's other sports for you. Who are you forcing to watch this game? Nobody. And you could change the game all you want. You're not getting like basketball fans to all of a sudden go, hey, I'm going to go watch baseball now. It's not happening. No. All you're doing is disenfranchising your existing fans. You're certainly not adding fans just because there's a pitch clock, or there was no non-fans of baseball that turned on baseball last year and said, hey, this is much better. No one, zero.
Right.
Not one. And I don't know who thinks that was the outcome that they were going to get, but that's what they were shooting for. And I know that they're concerned about kids, and specifically minority kids that are they just love basketball more than they love baseball, or high school athletes that are playing lacrosse instead of baseball. They're not coming back to baseball because of a pitch clock or obstruction rules. It's not a thing.
They're masking the problem, and the problem is not the time of the game.
And you're pissing off people like me. I will literally watch any baseball game that's on TV. When we were in COVID, I watched the goddamn Korean League. I was up at 4 a.m. watching Korean baseball, and I watch college baseball. I go in person and watch college baseball. I go to minor league. I watch any fucking baseball that I can get my hands on. And it's because I love baseball. And that's how baseball fans are. They love the sport, and they don't care that there's a pitch clock or not. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah. But it's not going anywhere, so we might as well just get fucking used to it, I guess.
So the reason they're speeding the game up is because they have to be able to justify the amount of commercials, because it's a TV game now, and they're not going to take the in-between innings from 2.5 minutes to a minute and a half, which they could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they want the 30-second commercial revenue.
And they get every second out of that too now.
Every second.
Every broadcast, for a while Nesson's been doing it for a long time, and it aggravated the shit out of me. And now it's really every broadcast. The broadcasters are saying, "Okay, we'll be back after this," and then they're already in commercial before the words are out of their mouth, and
they come back late.
Yeah, and they come back late. That's so they're squeezing every second they can out of the in between innings. But I don't know. I never complained about the length of games. I'll watch baseball for 6 hours if I have to. I'll watch a 1-0 game that goes 17 innings. I don't care. I love baseball.
And you want that, that game when it's 0-0 or 1-1 in the ninth. You don't want it. You want to go in extra innings because you want to watch the game, like I do. I know you do.
Yep. Yeah, crazy. I think about 2004 and the length of those Red Sox Yankees games. They went on. I mean, they must have been 5-hour games, and I had 3 of them went to extra innings, I think. So, and if they went another 4 hours, I would have been glued to my seat. I would have been really drunk. I would have been glued to my seat, and I missed that. I miss the Mario Rivera throwing over the first 7 times, and Dave Roberts taking a big lead and trying to get in his head. That doesn't exist anymore because of the disengagements rule, and it's really too bad because that's part of the beautiful part of the game that's just gone now. There's no nuance to base running. There's no nuance to your stretch and your wind up. It's gone because of the rules.
That game, the opening day game yesterday in Korea with the Dodgers, the 5-2 game. San Diego still used 8 pitchers in the game. 8 pitchers. They lost 5-2.
Yeah, it's a problem. And they still have to face a minimum of 3 unless you finish an inning.
Correct. And the game was like 3 hours and 20 minutes long.
Yeah, and I missed that too. I missed the reliever coming in for one batter and doing his job, and and then going to another reliever. It's baseball. And what's crazy is that they're not changing those rules at other levels. So if the goal was to attract more baseball players at the young levels, they haven't done that because it's not like they're all changing their rules. There's no pitch clocks in high school. There's no pitch clocks in AAU. There's no disengagement rules in high school. All that stuff hasn't happened. So and it can't happen because they can't afford to implement that stuff.
Correct.
So they can't afford. They can't even afford to do the bigger bases.
No, it's funny you say that because I was talking to one of the other teams in our league in the NECBL GMs, and the topic of equipment, field equipment came up, and I said, I don't buy bases because our city pays for, has they take care of everything. I said, how much do bases cost? And they said like a good pair, a real good pair, like $500 for 3 of them.
Oh, that's more than I thought. So last time I bought Hollywood bases, they were like $230 or something like that, which to me is still like for bases, really $230 for 3 bases. But yeah, you're not replacing bases at every level of the game, and
no,
you're not getting timers and pitch clocks, and you're not you can't implement any of this stuff just because of the cost of it. So, although the electronic device thing, that was really expensive. That's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I got an ad on my phone today, as a matter of fact, for an app now that you can sign up for, and you can use AirPods as the earpieces, and you can communicate with your players via your cell phone without buying like that whole $10,000 system, the PitchCom system,
right?
Which is $10,000.
I know, yeah.
Just for 2 devices. So I'm kind of interested in the app because it's $100 a player. So for $500, you can have 5 people on the AirPods, if assuming they have their own AirPods, and it communicates with an Apple Watch and everything too. So that's kind of I'm kind of tempted just to get it and play with it this year.
Stay
it'd be a
old
little
school,
silly.
Jim. Fight
I know, I know. And we actually had our league meeting on Tuesday night, and a couple of guys were, they mentioned, are we going to do the Ghost Runner, which we haven't done, and half the guys wanted to do the Ghost Runner in extra innings. I was like, I almost walked out. What the fuck are we doing here? We're not doing good. It didn't pass, so we're not doing the Ghost Runner. But yeah, I hate these new rules.
How many games went extra innings in your league last year?
Probably 2. Yeah, not many. I know I didn't play any, so but we also we kind of destroy everyone. So
do you?
Oh yeah, we're very good. So yeah, we have a good time. We mercy rule more people than we go to extra innings with.
Why don't you bring the team down and scrimmage the Navigators before we start the season? This
I
spring?
Absolutely will. So right now we're scheduled to play the Yawkey League A's on April 5th, but they don't have a field. So they were supposed to get East Boston Stadium, and they're not turning the lights on for some reason. So we can't get it. So we're thinking about canceling that if I can't get a field up here, which I'm trying to do right now.
April 5th?
April 5th, Friday night, April 5th.
You guys start that early?
We start April 14th.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's the earliest we've ever started, which I hate, because we start typically the week after Easter, and Easter is super early this year. But it helps us. It's a 16-game regular season. It's only you play 1 game a week, a couple doubleheaders. You don't play Memorial Day, Mother's Day, 4th of July, and then the playoffs are August. So there's 3 rounds of playoffs, and then we have the week after the season ends, we have a golf tournament. So we pray to God that there's no pushback for like rain dates.
Right.
And then the week after that's Labor Day, and we go to the Cape for the Cape Cod Classic. And then the week after that, our fall league starts. That's 4 weeks. And then the week after that, we have our Laconia tournament, which is it's actually not part of our league, but we run it. It's a 35-plus tournament in Laconia that goes on every Columbus Day weekend. So every single weekend is packed for us. Wow. We can't possibly play any more games. But yeah, it's 16 games, and by starting a week earlier this year, it just makes it a little bit easier to schedule if there is a rain out or something. So
gonna be cold.
It's gonna be fucking freezing. I've already rescheduled my 2nd and 3rd games to weeknights during the summer. If you can get like the other team to agree to it and not play on the weekend, you can do that. So, but my first week is still going to be April 14th, freezing our asses off. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? I hate this shit.
Right.
So we're supposed to play Yawkey on April 5th, and then April 17th we're supposed to play the Boston Firemen, the Boston Fire Jakes. They're pretty good too, and they tour the whole country.
Really?
And yeah, they travel everywhere. They travel to Canada, and I know they're going to Chicago this year, and they were in Arizona last year, and so we're playing them. Yeah, I would love to come down and play you guys, though. When do you guys start? May? End of May?
June 1st is the first practice. We open up on June 4th. So somewhere in between then.
You got a lot of practice in between.
Well, they're all coming from
college, yeah.
So
yeah, we'd come down and play for sure. We'll give you a game too. Considering that the average age of my team is probably 30.
Well, I would do it so that your guys pitched against you guys and our guys.
Oh no, we wouldn't do that. I wouldn't accept that.
Well, we would need to. I mean, we'll hit 40 home runs against you guys.
No, you won't. No, my team's really good. We destroyed Yawkey last year.
Okay, yeah, these guys are. I got a center field that's a 6'3" runner. He's gonna steal 40 bags at Miami this spring.
I got Santiago Pena. He'll hose him. You remember Santi?
I don't.
So he was the Lynn English catcher for Caponegro.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
Yeah,
he's the catcher. We'll run all day.
He played Texas League. He's pretty good. He's got a cannon for an arm.
We'll run all day.
He's 33.
We will run all day.
I'll catch.
I will give you I will give you 13 runs.
13 runs? You no fucking way. You're underestimating. We're 21 plus. I've got some ball players, man.
Oh, you're 21 plus.
We're 21 plus, but my average age is older than most of the league. But my older guys are good. I've got guys that played pro ball.
How old are you? What's your average age?
I think about 30 on my team.
Okay, I'll give you 10 runs.
I don't think we're gonna need it, man. We kicked the shit out of like Division III teams.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean we beat up the Tides last year from the North Shore League too.
Okay,
they're all college kids.
Here's the deal. Okay, you guys come down and play us, and I know we're off topic, but you guys come down and play us. Losers pay for the beer.
No problem.
You're gonna drink them either way.
Are your kids old enough to drink beer?
Some of them, the ones that aren't, will leave.
You can have the rest.
And you guys will pay for the beer.
We'll make it happen. That'll be fun.
We'll give you 10 runs, and that's giving you 10 runs.
I don't want 10 runs.
You won't score 3 against us.
Oh my god, you're vastly underestimating.
All right,
especially hitting.
We're gonna run
especially
some
hitting.
We're gonna run some dudes out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of the best hitters on the team anymore. I mean, I hit really well last year, but I'm not one of the better hitters on the team anymore. I don't think. And I'm not scared to face college kids.
No, you shouldn't be, but that doesn't mean you're going to hit him.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll put the TrackMan on.
We are crafty veterans.
Listen, there's nothing I respect more than a veteran baseball player, but you have to know when to throw the towel in.
I would never.
You guys won't score 3 runs. I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm challenged. Challenge accepted. Absolutely, we'll come down.
All right, beautiful.
So yeah, absolutely, that'd be fun. My guys will love it.
Yeah, beautiful. We need one game. We played the Lexington Blue Sox 2 years ago. Beat them 17-2.
Okay, yeah, Lexington. I think we could take the Lexington Blue Sox.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really good. I'm telling you, we're really good.
The Lexington Blue Sox have won the Intercity League like 8 out of the last 9 years.
Probably 25 out of the last 30 years.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. I don't know.
I asked Ricky, after the game, and he said, "You're going to come up next year and play us?" And he says, "Yeah, we'll see."
I've got guys that can hit. They all I've got 4 or 5 guys that were like Division I. I've got a couple guys that played some pro ball.
Okay, beautiful. It makes it easier. It'll make it easier for you to lose and not complain about it.
I wouldn't complain if I lost, but
no.
I think we can give you guys a proper game where your players won't feel like they're wasting their time.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's all we want. We want to get a workout in, and
yeah. If I catch you, they'll definitely get a workout in because they'll be running around everywhere. But my noodle arm now. So anyways, we are way fucking off topic.
That's all right.
And and we're already running almost an hour. Let's do our Red Sox season awards.
Okay.
I'll let you go first. Let's start with Rookie of the Year.
Oh, Rookie of the Year. Okay. That's an easy one. It's Rafaela. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year. He may be the Rookie of the Year in the league. By the way, I was not sold on him making the opening day roster 3 weeks ago. He's 100% making the opening day roster now, and I wouldn't be surprised if by May 1st he was the second baseman every day.
Yeah, and that's a big surprise because 2 weeks ago I said, and you said too, if he makes this team, he's your starting center fielder, period. Because he can play second base, and he's going to be good at second base defensively, but he is absolutely elite in center field. And if you put him in the middle of the field, he's above average to good. So that seems like it's not where you want him to end up at the end of the day. But obviously with Grissom out and Valdez can't catch a ground ball. I actually watched Valdez, and I like Valdez because he can hit, but man, is he bad in the field. I watched him make 3 and they didn't even call them errors, which I was really surprised. But essentially 3 errors in an inning last week, and not one was actually called an error. I was stunned. He goes to his left, he goes down to a knee and makes the play, but he doesn't have the footwork to spin the correct way.
Right.
So instead of kind of with the 45-degree angle going to right field to his left, instead of spinning to his left like almost 360, he awkwardly turned to his right and then tried to like throw off his front
Yeah, he
foot.
tried to open up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make that throw. It's a hard throw, and he threw it, just sailed it over into the dugout. And then the very next batter, it was a ground ball to his left, and it hopped under his glove, and it was just like, okay, what are we doing here? And then it was like the next inning, I think it was something to his right that he couldn't quite get to, and it wasn't like very rangy at all. So yeah, I mean, I guess having Rafaela there is the best option today. But I want to see him in center field, and quite frankly, I want to see Jarren Duran get the heck out of here.
Out of Boston.
Yeah, I'm all set with him. He can't play.
Wow.
He can't play center field.
No, but I agree. I agree.
And there was a play today where he made like a sliding into the wall catch in center field,
I saw
and everyone posted it. Oh my God, what an unbelievable catch! He should have made that catch standing up. He should have just been under that ball and caught it in his back pocket. But because he slid, everyone thinks he's like, making these strides defensively. Like he can't get to the ball. He runs in a serpentine fucking route to the ball, and he's not where he's supposed to be. And they're a better team if he just goes away, because he can't hit a lick either. And he's a head case. He's going to be up and down. He's going to frustrate the hell out of us. Just move him now while you can get something for him, please, for the love of God, because he's not your center fielder of the future. Wow. Is there another rookie on the team other than Rafaela that we could even potentially pick for rookie of the year?
Bellows, not a rookie.
He's not a rookie. By the way, your NL pick for rookie of the year pitched 143 innings last year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Bobby Miller. Yeah, he pitched 143 innings last year.
All right, so I got to come up with another. I'll give you next.
Yeah, we'll do that next week. We'll lead off with that next week. But yeah, so Rafael is the rookie of the year, obviously. And I think he's gonna have a good year. I think he's gonna be a good ball player. As long as he continues to be a little bit pickier at the plate, which he seems like he's kind of figured out in the spring. But we don't know until you get major league, the 1 and 2 starters for these teams out there on the mound and see what their game plan is and whether they learn how to pitch to the kids. So we'll see for real what he's got in a couple weeks. After rookie of the year, what we're doing? Relief pitcher of the year.
I had Lichty, but if he doesn't make the team, who knows? I think Martin's going to be the guy, but I'm going to go with Double L.
Okay. I'm going with Weissert. I'm going to go with Weissert because I think that, if Jansen and Martin are here, I think they're going to miss time. They're going to be up and down hurt and, kind of managing the load a little bit, which I don't know what they're managing it for because it's not like they're going to the playoffs. But I really like Weissert. He's got a really, really good slider, and he's got poise. He looks like he could be something not special, but he looks like we got a good piece back for Verdugo along with the starting pitching prospect. So I'm going with Weissert for reliever of the year. And then starting pitcher.
Pivetta. I think he's going to be the guy that's in there the most, and he'll eat up the most innings, and he'll win it by default. He's like being the tallest midget.
So I'm going with Tanner Houck.
Wow, you thinking a big year?
I'm thinking he's going to make the biggest jump this year.
2 pitches, not a 3-pitch guy.
He's not a 3-pitch guy, but his 2 pitches are dirty. And if he stays healthy, which is a big if, especially with Bodie in town, and he got hit in the face last year, but he seemed to bounce back from that pretty quick. When he got hit in the face, I was like, ugh, that can do some damage to your psyche. And I wasn't sure if he was going to want to get back out there, but he got back out there pretty quick and pitched well at the end of the year. So he's got the talent to be really good, and maybe he puts it together this year. I mean, the easy pick is Bello. He's your future ace and all that stuff. I just, he's going to be good. I didn't want to just pick Bello because there's only 5 to choose from. I think Houck's going to have a good year.
Wow. So, if he has a good year, then, the Red Sox could be onto something. Who knows?
If him and Pivetta have good years.
Well, Pavetta's in a walk year, right?
Yeah.
So he's motivated. I shouldn't say I should not say that he has not been motivated, but he's serviceable, and he's going to take the ball 5 days, every 5 days. So, Pivetta for me, it's Pivetta.
Okay, I hope we're both right.
One of us might be right. We got a 40%
that'd be good.
Chance of one of us being right.
Yeah, maybe they both have a good year, and this team is playing meaningful games in September.
I didn't pick Bello because I think he's going to break down second half of the year.
He is a scrawny kid, and he threw a lot of innings last year, for the first time in his career. So yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think he's only thrown over 150 innings once, something like that. So yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't want to predict him breaking down, but I don't want to also predict him, making big leaps and bounds this year either. I just don't think he's quite there yet.
Well, I think they're going to be overly cautious with him too, versus a guy like Pivetta that just say, you're a free agent. See you later. Do what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Pivetta has a good year. I like Pivetta. I do too. He's a competitor. He's got good stuff. He's just been so mediocre since he's been here. He really hasn't capitalized on his talent. If this new pitch is for real, who knows?
Right.
So what were the other 2 categories? We're going to do most improved, right?
Yes. Connor Wong.
I like that pick. He's looked good this spring. Really good this spring. And,
had a good spring. If he hits 250, he's had a good year.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he hits 260 with 10 home runs and 10 stolen bases, and he's a solid defensive catcher, then, and he's in the 9 spot, you're in a good place with your offense if he's producing at the bottom of it.
He cannot get hurt.
Yeah. Fuck no. No,
if he gets
they're
hurt,
in trouble.
That's the iceberg hitting the Titanic.
Yeah, and they're not going to make a move and bring in a catcher. They're going to
right.
go with Heineman or Perez and McGuire. There's certainly I know people will be clamoring to bring up the kid, but that's not happening this year.
No, and he's not ready.
0.000% chance.
Not ready.
Yeah, and so okay, I'm going with Trevor Story.
Most improved. Well, yeah,
most improved. Right, he's coming back from injury. He really didn't hit last year. And he really hasn't hit at all since he was really, really hot that 1 month, his first season. And then he was really cold the second half of that year. And then he got hurt and all that. So I'm going with Story. He looks pretty good so far. He's striking out a little bit less. He's been hitting some doubles. I'd like to see 270, 22 home runs out of him. And solid defense at second base, at shortstop rather.
Well, he's certainly a viable candidate. I don't think he'll be here after July. So
I was just going to say, I hope he does better than that because I hope they can get something for him at the deadline.
Yeah.
So and that someone takes on that contract for us because he's not your shortstop of the future. So.
And then all right, so then the other one was MVP, and we could not.
No Devers. You cannot pick Devers.
Okay, so you're not going to like my pick because I went with Jarren Duran.
I think you're drunk.
It's Thursday. Thursday. Tomorrow, noontime, we start.
I just don't see him hitting over 210.
Oh, he's going to hit over 210. He's going to go 25 too.
Oh, really?
Yes. Especially if he's playing left field. Now, do I think he's the leadoff hitter for the year? No, I do not believe he's the leadoff hitter. And I think they're really pushing that on him just because he's the fastest guy in the team. But I believe after watching what he did last year before he got hurt, I believe he's on to something with his added muscle, his newfound mind. He's got himself in a good frame of mind. I think he's going to have a good year. I really do.
Okay, I hope you're right, man. I really do, because you root for someone like him who's battling with stuff in his head, and I think the muscle is a detriment to him because he doesn't move well. He's fast, but he can't run the damn bases. I mean, he's not like a smart base runner as fast as he is. And he's fast, but he's got range in the outfield because of the circles he runs in.
He's not a great outfielder.
No, and I mean, the only time he's ever hit for average was that 1 month last year when he was, looking like an MVP candidate for a month. But, this will be year 3. And he's basically got a year and a half of pretty bad baseball and, half a season of decent baseball under his belt. I hope you're right. I really do. I don't see it. He just seems like a head case and someone that's not a center fielder and someone that's not a leadoff hitter.
Well, if he does not have a good year, Jim, then the Red Sox might not win 70 games.
I mean, I think they're better with Rafaela in center field. Once Chris,
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
I think Durant should play left.
Yeah, well, I think they're better with Tyler O'Neill on left.
No, I put Tyler O'Neill on right.
So you're down on Abreu.
I'm out.
Out on Abreu. He's had a pretty shitty spring. He looks fairly lost at the plate, but they know that he can swing the bat. He performed last year in a small sample rather, and he's got some speed. He plays good defense. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Let him be the late inning replacement, and he can hit against righties.
Well, I was going to say, if you're not going to have him as your starting right fielder, you're doing him a disservice being on the bench. He should go down and play every day.
Okay, fine. I'm okay with that too.
I'd be okay with it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be here. I think he's going to be your right fielder. So he's started right field every game that he's played this year in the spring so far.
I haven't seen him play right field in a week. I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, this last week they've kind of changed things up a little bit. So, all right. So you're going with Jarren Duran. I actually haven't thought about this that much because without being able to pick Devers, I think Cassis is the logical choice.
But you don't want to pick him because he's not going to be the MVP.
I don't like him. He's very unlikable.
He's tough to like. I guess he's an acquired taste, right?
He really is, and he's very businesslike with his whole approach to the game. Like he almost plays it with no joy. And I feel like he's been playing that way since high school, where he's been playing for free agency since he was, a high school player. Yeah. He's in this for the business part of it, and I just don't love that from him. I don't love the feeling I get from him as a teammate, as a player, as from the fan perspective. Like I don't love the way he comes off and the way he approaches the game. It just seems like
first-round pick. Was he a first-round pick?
Yeah, I believe so. First-round pick, third baseman out of high school, and he was a Miami commit.
Right.
And but he signed he had a big signing bonus.
Yeah.
I believe he was a late first-round pick. So I just don't like Cassis. So I'm not going to pick Cassis. I wish I thought more about this.
Well, you could go back to Story, right? I mean, it's got to be someone like that.
Yeah. You know who I'm going to go with?
Don't say Jarren Duran.
No, I'm definitely not saying Jarren Duran. I'll go with Nick Pivetta for MVP.
Wow.
I'm going to take your best starting pitcher and turn him into my MVP.
Wow.
Because he's going to, even if he's not your best pitcher, he's going to throw 200 innings. He'll be the most valuable player on the team because without him, you don't have a pitcher that's going to eat innings.
So let me ask you this then. If he's the MVP,
you're fucked. I mean,
how many games is this Red Sox team going to win?
No, I don't know. I can't see them winning more than 75.
75 is the number. Yeah, I'm under. I'm under.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, real quick, I was thinking about this morning when I was watching the Dodgers. Do you think the Dodgers are going to be favored in all 162 games?
No.
You don't?
No, because they're going to match up with Zach Gallen at times, and they're going to match up with Blake Snell at times.
You think Zach Gallen and Blake Snell are going to overmatch that offense over the course of 162 games?
I think that they'll be the odds on favorite, like the Las Vegas favorites, if they're matching up against whoever the fourth and fifth starters are for the Dodgers.
Well, you're going to. Okay, so let's say it's Kershaw in July against
Kershaw stinks now. Yeah, Kershaw stinks.
Okay, so you think that the Diamondbacks are going to be favored?
The Diamondbacks are going to be very good this year.
I told you last week they're going down.
Oh, Jesus.
Step back. Step
You're
back.
on your mind. Their fourth starter would be the ace from the Red Sox today.
That's okay. I did not. That's got nothing to do with the price of tea in China.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? It's got nothing to do with it.
And don't forget that the Atlanta Braves are in the National League, and they're going to play them 6 times this year. The Atlanta Braves.
The Braves and the Phillies are the two teams that I could say out of 162. Those might be the only two teams, and those are the two teams that I thought of that when they play the Dodgers, especially at home, could be favored. But I mean,
and when Paul Skeens comes up.
So out of 162 games, how many times do you think the Dodgers will not be favored?
24.
24. So if you shaded the Dodgers in the 24 games, if you bet the Dodgers,
if you bet the money line on the Dodgers for 162 games, you're going to win a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like free money.
Yeah, you're going to have to lay some money when you lose.
But you could say the same for the Braves too.
Yeah, I would say the Braves would probably be the second team, most favorite team in baseball.
No, they're the favorite team in baseball right now.
No, but over 162, over game by game, I think that the Braves will be, and the Dodgers will be the most favorite team by game over the course of the season.
I think the Braves will be.
Yeah,
I think they're the best team in baseball. I think that they've got 4 starters that would be number 1 or number 2 on most teams. Actually, they got 5 starters that would be their starting rotation is so good that their starting pitching all-star from last year didn't make the goddamn rotation.
I know.
He's going back to AAA. I mean, that's how good they are. They've got 3 guys in AAA that would be the 3, 4, 5 starters for the Red Sox today. Maybe the 2, 3, 4 starters for the Red Sox today.
Right. Oh, so no, not
their pitching is
2, 3, 4,
deep.
1, 2, 3.
Their bullpen is deep. Their lineup goes 9 deep. I mean, okay, 8 deep if you're not a big fan of Kelenic in left field. But
who started to swing it, by the way?
Who started what?
Who's really started to swing it lately?
Yeah, he's had a few good games. He's still hitting.
No, they moved his hands down.
Yeah.
And he's taken off the last week or so.
I saw him choking up the other day too, which you don't see very often anymore. But I saw it looked like there was about an inch under his fist the other day. So
he's the best 9-hitter in baseball. If he's a 9-hitter,
right? I mean, and they had the best 9-hitter in baseball already with MH2 was their 9-hitter last year, and he's filthy. They've got a very, very, very good team, and they brought in last week. They brought in Duvall to platoon with Kelenic. So, and Duvall's a very good defensive outfielder. He's going to hit 20 home runs. He's going to face all the lefties. He's going to have all good matchups. So that is a very, very good team. You know, they don't have Mookie Betts at shortstop. They don't have Gavin Lux booting everything at second base. They have no question marks in the starting rotation except for Chris Sale, who stinks. God, he looks so good. He fucking kills me.
I haven't seen his last start since I didn't check.
It was a little shakier, but still, like I think he's just working on stuff. It's just spring training. He looks really good right now. If he stays healthy, I'm afraid you're going to be right. If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, forget it.
Yeah, I mean his build and his mechanics are so fucked up though that staying healthy it's a big question mark.
Let me ask you a question on this mechanics thing. Is there really any real way to throw the baseball that's proper? Honest to God.
No, I mean you got to do what your body's built for, and his body is built to do whatever he's doing.
Yeah, if you asked Chris Sale to throw over the top, he wouldn't be in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I don't, this whole thing where he's going to get hurt because of his mechanics. I think that's a load of shit. I honestly do.
I mean, he's been hurt,
but he has not been hurt for the reasons that are mostly baseball related. We talked about this.
Yeah, well, yeah, TJ
fell off. Yeah, right. TJ's like TJ's a walk in the park now. Everybody's getting TJ. I don't have a problem with that.
Did he have two?
TJ, I don't think so.
He didn't have one early on?
No, I think he's just had one.
Okay.
Tommy John's been around for a long time now, and it's just been perfected, and the rehab's a lot shorter than it was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But guys are still getting Tommy John 25 years ago, just not at the rate that they are. And that's what I'm saying, Jim, is, they're all throwing the same exact way, and they're all getting Tommy John. So I don't believe there's an exact science on how to throw the baseball. Do what you're comfortable doing and what your body allows, and do it for as long as you can.
Yeah, he just watching him throw makes my arm hurt.
Yeah, but he does it effortlessly. He's not a full effort guy. He just gets on top and he slings it.
Yeah, speaking of which too, I have that same concern with Cutter Crawford with his arm slide.
I watched him yesterday. I'm like,
that arm slide, it's scary. Every time he cocks back, I'm like, oh, here it goes. It's gonna fall off right now.
He had to
but it works for him.
He had to have been a catcher at one point.
Right? Or a second baseman or something. Yeah.
Catcher. He just goes right there and then he throws from here. So, and that's a perfect example of, there's no exact science on how to throw a baseball. Because if there was, everybody would do it. Everybody would emulate the one guy that does it right. And there would be no injuries because that's the way it's supposed to be done. There's no exact science. I can't stand these guys that say, oh, you're going to throw your bullpen the same way this guy does, or we're going to move your arm slot to here or there. Every guy is different.
That's what they're doing now. That's what Driveline's whole philosophy is do it this way. And you're seeing more and more Tommy Johns because guys are changing the way that their body wants to go one way, and these analytics are forcing them to do something else. So, all right, man, we're on an hour and 20 minutes here.
All right. Well, and just so you know, I was watching the Red Sox game, and after the Red Sox game ended, now on NESN, it's NESN Plus, is the opening day of 2011 with, against the Yankees. And who started for? John Lackey started for the Red Sox. They're playing the Yankees.
Oh, I miss those days.
2011.
I turned on NESN earlier today, and they had a 1991 Bruins versus Nordiques.
Oh, yeah.
I swear to God, I wanted to take my pants off and watch the game.
What were the names?
What?
The brothers that played for the Nordiques. What were the names?
Oh, I can't remember.
They I don't think they were triplets, but they were three brothers. They all played for Quebec. They were fantastic. They were their own line. They were awesome.
The Suitors?
No, it was not the Suitors. Hold on. I'm not hanging up until we figure it out.
That's fine.
I'm not a big hockey guy, although I was named after Derek Sanderson.
Swampscott guy.
Derek Sanderson was a Swampscott guy?
He wasn't a Swampscott guy. He lives in Swampscott now.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quebec Nordiques. Wow, the triplets.
This is so entertaining for everybody.
Yeah, fuck the Stastny brothers.
Oh yeah.
They were a whole line.
Oh man, I watched that game for 10 minutes, and just watching Bork, he was so good, and Rajon Lemelin was in goal, and he's standing on his head, and they're like just destroying each other out there on the ice.
Right.
It's just so different. Of course, you can hardly see because they just look like blurs because the fucking quality is so bad. But anyways, all right, man, that was fun. I wanted to talk a little bit about my tweet this week about Division I baseball.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I got like 25 DMs from that of people who are like, "Oh my god, I feel the same way. Like I can't believe how bad Division One baseball is this year." And fuck the time. I don't give a shit. I'm having fun. Um, I watched a lot of Division One baseball the last 2 weekends. It is unfucking watchable. The game stops for so long every 5 minutes with the constant pitching changes, these ridiculous challenges that take 5 minutes, and they're all failing. So
All
I don't even
failed.
know. I don't even know what they're challenging. It's crazy because they don't have like the same systems in place like Major League Baseball does, where like they got like a video room and like 5 people
Right.
analyzing it, and they get back to you like that.
Right.
So there's a lot of failed challenges, and the wild pitches and the damn electronic devices. They one game went so long that the catcher's device ran out of batteries, and they had to stop the game and get him a new device, and it it is unwatchable. And that's just like the bullshit that they could cut out easily. The quality of play sucks too. The defense is pretty. I saw a lot of really, really, really good plays, but it seems like a lot of bad throws, which I thought was weird. Like watching guys like really, really flash the leather and then just throw the ball away. And a lot of bad base running, guys like, not touching the base back when they're going back on a tag up, or I saw at one game a guy passed his own fucking teammate in the base pass accidentally, and it's just like, what are we doing here in Division One baseball? These are the best of the best. You know how good you have to be a Division One baseball player,
I do.
and it is not good baseball right now. And they're just so worried about bat flips and home runs and 100 miles an hour that the game is just eroded to just nothing. And I'll tell you right now, I will watch Division Two baseball any goddamn day of the week for the enjoyment of the actual game. No electronic, well, not no electronic devices, but a lot fewer electronic devices. They're bunting, they're stealing, they're hitting and running, they're playing baseball. They don't do that in Division One anymore. It's fucking crazy.
Well, one of the problems is there's only a couple coaches, right? Um, so on game day, things go to shit real fast because during the week you get practice and you got all these extra guys around, um, yeah, quality control guys and grad assistants, and they can't be in the dugout on game day. You can only have three coaches on the game, three assistants on the field on game day. So these guys, there's a lot going on in a baseball game now that you look at the Red Sox. Look how many coaches do they have in the dugout?
It's like everyone has their own personal coach.
And I noticed it last night with the Celtics. How many
It's a
coaches were
lot.
on? Well, the Bucks had, I counted them, 11 coaches either on the bench or in the first row behind the bench,
Yeah, and some
including
were probably trainers or like
okay,
physical
11,
therapists. Yeah.
11 out of
Yeah,
there's
there's a
15
lot
players.
in the NBA, and that whole like second row of seats behind the bench is like all assistants of some sort. It's crazy.
So to your point, there's a lot of fundamentals get missed, and a lot of fundamentals go by the wayside because there's not enough time. You only have so many hours a week to practice. These kids got to go to school, so these coaches are expecting these kids to come in and be trained to at least to a level where they can go out and play a game right then and there if they had to on open day of practice in the fall. But it's not the case. You got a lot of kids that are chasing velo and exit velocity, or they can run a 6.460, but they can't run the bases. They don't know how to hit a ball behind a runner, all that stuff that goes into being a pro baseball player. And they don't know how to be professional, play professionally. They don't know how to act professionally. And honestly, most of these coaches, they don't know how to act professional either. They're terrible leaders.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues I've noticed is like a freshman or sophomore pitcher comes in the game, and he's throwing 100 miles an hour, and it's all over the place, and the pitcher has to come get him. The coach has to come get him like pretty quickly, 3, 4 batters, and he's out because he stinks. And the kid is either arguing with the coach And he's going back to the dugout and slamming his glove down, and he's barking back at the field, like yelling at the coach. Or he's got his head down and he's just like, this sucks. I suck. This isn't how it's supposed to go today. And he's just like totally dejected. I saw a lot of that, and it's usually from the freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah,
and
the worst is when you see a kid who's all over the place, like you said, freshman comes in throwing 100, can't find the strike zone, and then on a 3-2 pitch, he throws a dick shot that gets called for a ball that's a borderline strike, and he's yelling and screaming going off the mound. Yep. And then the coach is yelling and screaming going off the mound because there was a borderline pitch, and all of a sudden the umpire is supposed to get every pitch correctly because you can't find the ocean.
Yeah,
you fell out of a boat for the first 5 pitches of the at bat.
Yeah, they expect the benefit of the doubt, which they haven't earned. You used to earn that, and you don't earn it anymore, and you just expect it now because you're a stud, 100-mile-an-hour flamethrower, and the next best thing or whatever, and they all think that their shit doesn't stink, and that's a problem with the coaches too. That it starts with the parents first of all, but it's a problem with the coaches, and they there's no culture, and that's goes back to what I said at the beginning of the podcast, and we'll end it real soon, but. The Yankees and the Dodgers and the way that they act in the field, the way they appear in the field, that's how, in my opinion, every team in every professional sport in every Division I sport should act. It's a job. You're either getting paid or you're going to be getting paid to do it, or you're going to school for free for it. And you should act like a professional, like you've been there before. And, it's fun to celebrate and have fun a little bit when you do well, but don't forget that the person on the other side just got beat too, and they're going to beat you at some point, and there's no reason to be jumping around and pumping your chest and acting like a little asshole.
You want to, I'll give you 2 teams, college teams to go watch. If you're down in this area, go watch Endicott College, who's now ranked.
Oh, I do all the time.
They're ranked number 1 in the country.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Right. And I'll give you another one is Babson College. The 2 of them play the game the right way. There's no nonsense. And I'll give you a third one is Wheaton College. Eric Pavelski runs a really tight ship at Wheaton, and is always one of the better teams in the country when it comes to the regionals and stuff come the end of May. Those 3 guys, they run a tight ship. They have good teams. They play the game the right way, and you won't see any of that nonsense from any of those teams because their 3 coaches demand respect to not only themselves but to the game. So
they've been doing it a long time, and you just like the Swampscott guys. DeFelice is a Swamp. Well, he's not there anymore, right?
He's retired, but
but Swampscott guy. Yeah, you just love the Swampscott guys. But you know who else too? Division I locally is Glavin at Northeastern.
Well, Glav's a class act. Runs a tight.
He might be a top 5 coach in the country.
He's certainly probably him and Nicky Durber at Maine are probably the 2 best coaches in New England that are probably going to move on. Jimmy Penders at UConn's a very good coach, but he's never leaving. And I don't think Glav is ever going to leave too, but you could see Nicky Durber up at Maine on the move at some point because he's pounding out professional baseball players out of Maine, and he's a good coach. He's a very good coach, good talent evaluator, and he's a good developer of talent once he gets them. So, but you're right. Glavin runs a good tight ship, and he's fun to watch. They beat up on BC the other day.
Good.
So, but those 3 schools, you could go watch those 3 schools at Endicott, Wheaton, and Babson, and you'll leave there saying you watched a clean game played by those 3 teams. So.
Yeah, I've been streaming the Endicott games. So on that, man, we've gone an hour and a half and a lot of fun, and we'll do it again next week. We'll probably go long next week, even though there's nothing to talk about for the Red Sox.
So next week we're on at 8:15
day next week. We're gonna be doing this right before the game.
Right before the game.
Are you gonna stay up and watch it?
Is that fat dog fart?
What if we did this during the game? We'll be like the Manning brothers, do like a Manning cast.
Well, we could do a Manning cast. Okay.
I wonder if I could put the game right here on like a third screen on our podcast here, and we could do like a Manning cast.
Oh, well, you let me know. I mean, I will be up watching the game. Yes.
All right, we'll figure it out.
All right, pal. Talk to you soon.
Have a good week. I'll talk to you. Bye.